Americans, the how and the why of our beloved republic are so much better known and understood than the who. The United States of America was born in 1776, but it was conceived 169 years before that. The earliest settlers had watered the New World with much sweat. They had built substantial holdings for themselves, for their families. And when the time came to separate themselves from a tyranny an ocean away, at best it meant starting all over again after the ravages of war. Researching what you're about to hear gave a whole new dimension to my reverence for our nation's first citizens. All others of the world's revolutions, before and since, were initiated by men who had nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. Our founders had everything to lose.
Welcome to Podpinions, where the world's on fire, and we show up like it's a backyard barbecue. Politicians, roasted. Woke trends, torched. Common sense, we've got you covered.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another Podpinion fun-filled episode.
Absolutely. I'm Rich.
And I'm Bruce.
And we're back again.
Yep, giving our Podpinions to the world.
Oh boy. Another week, it's 4th of July weekend.
Yes.
Oh boy. The dog's
They're
worst
out.
nightmare.
They're out. Oh yeah, that's true.
That's bad.
Yeah.
I mean bad.
Yeah.
Our one dog freaks out, the other one doesn't.
Okay. All right.
With all the fireworks and all the noise and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, he really goes, I feel bad for him. We have to sedate him.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever had problems with dogs with fireworks?
Yeah, I mean, our one I had, she was not thrilled, but she wasn't terrorized by it. But if they start going off, she'd basically come in a room where I was at, or
try to hide.
Just to be with somebody. She didn't want to be alone.
Our one dog freaks out. The other one, the coonhound, we have a blue tick coonhound. She hears a bang or a shot, and she runs to the sound. Although she's a terrible hunter, but she loves gunshot. Oh, yeah. We're working. Oh,
yeah. And the interesting part is the most times the shelters are overloaded or full or overwhelmed with pets is around the 4th of July, because
really
they take off.
They take off and get found.
Yep. So it's I don't know whether it's still out there. I know some people, there was a product called the Thunder shirt. Yeah. Some it worked, some dogs it worked on, some it didn't.
Our one dog did nothing.
Yeah.
Did nothing.
But the secret is you got to put it on, it's that stretchy material, and you got to put it on as tight as it'll go. And
donor cycle just went by.
A lot of people will just put it kind of on loose, but it's meant to put it on snug. Doesn't, obviously not where they can't breathe or anything, but nice and snug.
We used to do is put lavender oil, essential oils, on the dog's paws, and that helped a little bit.
Right.
But the Thunder shirt didn't. Maybe we didn't put it on tight enough. That's possible.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. But it's not good for the pets. And 4th of July growing up was on the 4th of July. Maybe it was the 5th because it got rained out or something, but it was always the 4th of July. And then we didn't, at least in our area, we had a fireworks shop, every frickin' 50 yards. So it wasn't a summer fun-filled firework booming here and there for all the pets. It was just that one night,
So the actual 4th of July is this Friday, 2 days from now. I played a 4th of July concert last night.
Right.
July 1st.
Yeah.
It's like Christmas starts
Yeah. They're just trying to jam everything in that they can.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I really hate it.
Everybody should stop. Should be like any other holiday growing up. It was that day. And once it's done, it's done. Now put up your decorations or whatever, that's fine. But to just kind of prolong it so you can sell more stuff or have more people come in, You know,
I mean, I get that part as far as the commerciality of it, but
then it gets to be meaningless.
It means nothing.
Right. And
it's the independence of our country.
Right. And the more, it's just like Christmas or Halloween or, you know, it used to be a special time. You know, 2 weeks before the holiday, you had to get your mask and what
now
you were going to be
in July.
Right.
I actually
you can
saw
order it on
Halloween
Amazon
stuff.
in January.
I just saw Halloween stuff in now it's July in where was it? Home Depot. They had some Halloween stuff.
Did they really?
And Walmart too.
It's not even the 4th of July.
No, it makes me crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
And then it'll be Halloween and it'll have Christmas stuff out already.
And the thing about it is most of the consumers, there's still some people that see something and they wanted it and they get it. But a lot of the consumers are smart now that if they wait until it's close to the holiday, it'll be cheaper. So
well, I was always, and part of it was because of my, being on the road all the time with bands. So I remember I was always in the Chicago area right like 2 weeks before Christmas. So we'd go downtown, Christmas shopping in Chicago. So it was great. It was fun. But when I was around at home, traditionally, since I was a kid, Christmas Eve I'd go out shopping.
Oh, that's the best.
Because there was nobody in the
best.
stores.
And then you didn't have to make too many decisions.
No.
You had a list.
Yeah.
You went and got
boom,
what you
boom,
did.
Boom, boom, done.
It wasn't like this one or, well, maybe they like this one. Well, let me come back in a week and I'll try it. I miss that. I love that.
I'd be done in like 2 hours.
I would tell people that and they
go nuts.
Their mind.
Right.
Like, how can you do that? It's
my best buddy and I, we always did that in high school and whatnot, college, Christmas Eve day.
Yeah.
We would go, okay, I'll pick you up at whatever time, and make a day of it, and we'd be done by 3 o'clock.
Yep. And then you get to go home, you wrap the packages, and
right.
be very festive, and get you in the mood, and
it was have to stress over
right.
it.
Exactly.
It was great.
Done. It was awesome.
Now it's like this major production.
Right. Yeah. Well, you're sick of it by the time it gets here. And by the time it gets here, you're already working on Valentine's Day in the frickin' stores.
Another Hallmark holiday.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
But this is the 4th of July. So we're celebrating our independence from England.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who don't know or didn't pay attention in history class.
Right.
So what I want to do this year, but I'm going to be working, what I really like to do, and I've done it in the past, is go to a famous historical landmark. Like here in Pennsylvania, there's a million of them. But, Philadelphia, Liberty Bell, and in New Jersey, we used to go out to Washington's headquarters in Morristown, where he spent the winter. He got to spend it in this beautiful mansion while his troops were in like the middle of nowhere, freezing their asses off. You go out during the day and visit them out in Jockey Hollow. But it's to me, that's what this country is about: our freedom, and we should go out and celebrate that freedom.
Right. And remember and learn what actually happened and what people went through to get us to where we're at. That we would just, maybe some of the country be a little more appreciative if they realized what it took to get here.
Right.
Instead of, whining about whatever they're whining about these days. People would know, have walked so far that the soles of their boots are worn out and they have to wrap themselves in towels so they don't get frostbite and lose more toes. And,
right.
No, it's
like here, the Valley Forge is here where the troops spent, a winter.
Oh, Philadelphia.
Philadelphia is just unbelievable with the history.
Yep. And all across the country, Boston and Philly and all the little homesteads and stuff in PA, New Jersey, which, Delaware River.
Yep.
Washington crossing the Delaware. And
actually, I have a book at home. Somebody gave it to me a couple years ago, and I've visited some of these places. It's actually a list of all the forts that were in Pennsylvania during the Revolutionary War, and also during the French and Indian Wars. So it has the address, where it is, what happened there. Most of them, I mean, there's a bunch around here in northeast Pennsylvania, but there's just a sign that says on this spot, blah, 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 blah. And but some of the places, like there's one in Delaware Water Gap, just south of the Delaware Water Gap, off of 611. You can actually, it's up off the Appalachian Trail.
Okay.
And there's actually parts of the building still there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, and it's
but
amazing.
Stuff like that,
right? Yeah. No, that, and to read up on it or learn it or see what the plaque says, and then look up, just even going around and seeing some of the old like gravestones and headstones, and the monuments that are there or the placards that are there, and just understanding what people went through. It's not all on a frickin' iPhone or
the interwebs.
Yeah.
Thank you, Al Gore.
Thank you, Al Gore. Happy 4th of July. Thank you for the internet, Al Gore. Couldn't
help myself. Sorry.
No, but that's really what it's all about, is to take time and back to the holiday stuff. It's just take time to appreciate where you came from as far as your family, and not necessarily what heritage you're from or what color you are. It's just to appreciate what got you to where you're at now. And it didn't happen just by you existing.
Not at all.
There was all the stuff that happened in the past that got us to where we're at now. And when you really sit back and think about everything that's going on today and how much we lost of the appreciation of just all the work and dedication and that people made in their lives and sacrificed their lives to get us to where we're at. And
people take it, they just take it for granted.
Yeah, and it's very humbling. And sometimes it doesn't cross your mind unless you actually make yourself do it.
Right.
And it should be done. Take your kids, take them out, let them experience being outside. And
well, that was one of the things growing up I have to give my parents a lot of credit for, was taking me to all these cool places to experience them. We would go to all these historic places. I remember several trips to Washington, D.C. You can't see it in one day,
right,
obviously.
Right.
But, did all the tours of the White House, the Capitol, whatever building you could go in. I remember going in the FBI building and like, whoa, this is cool.
Right. Yeah.
And which they're going to close because the thing's falling down, evidently, which I find really appalling.
Yeah. It's like, and again, the last episode I got on a rant about where's all the tax money going.
Well, it's not going to fix the FBI building because they're going to shut it.
Yeah.
Because it's unsafe.
Yep. But, even going back to D.C., just going to the monuments and
it's amazing.
And standing there and just understanding, it humbles you to, no matter how important you think you are, you didn't get here by your thoughts or your brains or whatever. You got here because people sacrificed and came across
Arlington
ships
National Cemetery and stand there.
Yeah, and climb cliffs and under fire and march through knee-deep snow, dragging cannons behind them, and it's
not all barbecues and fireworks.
No, that's what it's led us to, but we didn't get here by ourselves.
No, not at all. So get out this weekend.
Yeah.
Because since it's going to be a long weekend.
Yeah.
And go see some historical stuff.
Yeah.
I think you'll really appreciate it and love it.
And you'd be surprised how much is really local to you.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I couldn't even the town I grew up in Livingston, New Jersey, there was all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just the town you live in. I mean, there's history there that
We had
predates.
actually right up the street from where I lived, there was a cemetery that went back to the early 1700s when the town was actually found in the late 1600s. But it was a family cemetery, and these people went back to before the Revolution. That's what the headstones were, and now it's like the Township Historical Society took it over, but it's still there.
Right.
You know,
It's just people get so busy with their lives they don't stop and remember. And it's not just on Memorial Day or Veterans Day. It's, this country was built by just everyday people.
mm-hmm.
And yeah, there's some famous people that led some battles and different things, but in between those periods, it was people working for their families, trying to make a better life for their families. And I mean, just look at how the gold rush changed everything.
Changed everything.
People going out and loading everything up in a wagon and team of ox or horse or something. They had no idea what they were getting into, and following a rut in the prairie that was there from the other wagons that went before them. I mean, that's all part of our history.
It's pretty ballsy too.
Yeah,
to just put
absolutely,
it all on the line like that.
Absolutely. And I think that's that's part of the slogan that everybody makes fun of, "Make America Great Again." Well, that was getting us to where we're at now. It wasn't all about just the bad things. It's the stuff that really got us through just living.
Mm-hmm.
The winters and the crops would be wiped out by a rainfall,
or
a thunderstorm.
In the 1930s, they had the dust storms.
The Dust Bowl, yeah.
Locust.
Yeah. It's not just about the financial ruins and all that. It's humans persevering through all of that, and no matter what,
and making it out the other end.
Right. Well, that's it. Surviving, and all you got to do is be 3 days without power these days, and people are freaking out.
I find it amusing. All right, now you're getting into the prepper area here. So, and I hate starting sentences with "so," but so. I'm assuming you're alluding to preppers.
No.
On some level.
No. I was just getting to the point of before there was power, before there was vehicles, before there was all this convenience, people still found a way.
Mm-hmm.
And they survived. And, the prepper thing would be kind of part of that, getting back to understanding how they did it. And it's not just about being ready for
the zombie apocalypse.
Right, exactly.
No, it's like power out. Okay.
But it also gives you an appreciation of what others went through.
Oh, absolutely.
Because now you're going, wow,
how did they do this?
It's not like now you can have a go bag with a flashlight and a knife
dies.
But I'm saying just with the technology part of
Correct.
the prepper. But before all that happened, they had to find fresh water, they had to find food, they had just look at the guns.
Oh, it's crazy.
And how this part of the country was very it developed part of the country, that this part of the country developed the rest of the country by the iron ore and the guns, and not just for Army, Navy, and
No, but for surviving, hunting.
for surviving,
Right.
Yeah, and it's if you're
Actually,
really
talking about the history thing and firearms, right near here in, it's down in, I forget what town it is. It's called the Henry Museum, Henry Firearm Museum. And it has nothing to do with Henry guns, the Henry rifles. There was a different Henry firearms. They made flintlocks and percussion cap guns back in the 17 and 1800s. And there's a museum there now where this guy made these guns. And I want to go see it because it looks fascinating.
Right.
And I know people have gone there, but that's part of this area's history.
Well, just look at the, and if you get a chance, just even if you're not into firearms or guns or history of them, look what they used to do just to rifle a barrel.
Oh, it's incredible.
The machine that they created
Just
to
to rifle a barrel.
And that, if you don't know what rifling is, it's the spiral
Inside the barrel.
Right.
It makes the bullet spin.
And that creates the velocity, increases the velocity, and the trajectory is straighter.
And they
correct?
did that all by hand.
Right.
It's amazing.
Yep. Unbelievable. Just so that is part of, I think, what's to make America great again is to make us self-sufficient and
Craftsmanship.
and build our own and not be reliant on China or wherever you're getting parts made and convenience and cell phones, and it's actually being able to do it here.
Well, that's what Mike Rowe, the Dirty Jobs guy, he's got Mike Rowe Foundation, right? And he's pushing trade schools instead of college because we need more craftsmen. We need, carpenters and electricians and plumbers and machinists because nobody's doing that anymore.
And all you got to do is look at some of the craftsmanship in the wood products or the old bed or something that's all made out of oak and it's all hand carved. And well, you can get back to firearms. Look at the carvings in the stocks or the
unbelievable. Some of these flintlocks and whatnot, they're gorgeous.
And
it's like a piece of art. Almost.
And they all did that all by hand. It wasn't machines. It was all by hands. And so it's very humbling when you really think about the term "Make America Great Again." It's not about just one specific thing. It's being able to go back to that this country is, people came here for freedom, and they brought with them their skills, and it's just one pool of, basically, I keep saying it's like the mutts of the world.
Absolutely.
That congregated here and developed this country. Now, there was mistakes, there was things done wrong. We've worked on correcting them, but overall, it's just a pool of people that just didn't want to be told what to do and just wanted to get a chance of proving that they could survive, for instance, that they could use their craft, that they could make something and make it last.
And now our government is taking that away again.
Right.
And they have been, slowly.
Well, it's just the look of nobody wants anything anymore. If you try to give something away that's been a family heirloom.
Oh, forget it.
Younger generations have no want, need, or, interest in it.
Which is kind of sad.
Yeah. And if they really looked at it, it's not just your family that passed it down to you, but the person that made that table or chair or china or whatever, if you look back at that period of time of which it came from and what they went through to do it, it's pretty, I think it would change a lot of people's minds and they'd appreciate it more.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Now, to change the subject, segueing from A to B.
Yeah.
We're going from C to B flat in the music world. We in the last episode we were talking about the screwworm epidemic that's happening with the cattle and whatnot. So we said we were going to research it. So we did. So back in 1966, they supposedly eradicated this screwworm thing. And for those of you who don't know, there's a little bug coming up from Mexico that is infecting our cattle, horses, that kind of thing. And it's evidently deadly, and it could wipe out the entire beef production in the United States. So our government is going to sterilize billions of flies to mate, and they're going to airdrop them over Texas to, I guess, mate with the females, and then they'll have non-fertilized eggs, and eventually it will eradicate this fly. So from what I read and what I did was Dwight Eisenhower back in 1959 met with the president of Mexico because that's where it's coming from, to come up with a plan to eradicate this fly, because evidently there was a problem back in the 50s, the 40s and 50s. So they basically did the same thing.
Okay.
Was they it was called a blowfly larva. I guess that's what it was. That's what they called it under a microscope. So what they did was they actually sterilized flies in a lab and dropped them, or put them out in the wild, and they would breed with the Mexican ones, and they would be sterile. The new ones, they were
right.
So it eventually died out. So they were actually making up to 50 million sterile flies a week in that summer of 1962. And by 1963, they were doing 100. They found out that the screwworm flies could fly distances up to 180 miles, which is pretty big.
Wow.
So if you figure they went 180 miles and they breed and they fly another, so it could really take off. And so by 1965, Mexico started doing it on the border, on their side of the border. And by 1966, poof, gone.
Wow.
And then they set up like a demilitarized zone between the United States and Mexico, where they kept that fly free, fly as in the insect, not as in planes. And, they continued doing that. So then all of a sudden now, somehow, this thing popped up again, and it's, infecting all the our cattle. So they're going to start all over again.
Right.
With the,
so it did actually work the same
correct
way before.
Correct. So they're going to do
Pretty
the same
amazing.
thing again,
Okay.
and hope to God it works. But before they did it in a lab, now they're just going to radiate these things
Right.
to make them sterile.
Okay.
I guess they can do more
At a time,
at a time,
probably.
right.
Yeah. Right.
So
Pretty interesting.
it still scares me because it's the government saying, "Oh, this is safe."
Yeah. Right. No, but even that instance, back in the 50s and 60s, they found a way to do this. I mean, that's all innovation. That's all
Right.
getting back to where, they stopped the threat that was happening. And
But they did it in conjunction with Mexico.
right.
So
right.
they were helping out.
Yep. Yep. We'll
And
see
the
if- other
other thing we were talking about that we needed, like, what does the Senate Parliamentarian actually do? Well, we looked that one up, and here it is, all 9 pages of it. But in a nutshell, because we were wondering that this big, beautiful bill got to the Senate, and Schmuckles, Schumer, he was stalling and had the Senate clerks actually read all 900 and something pages of this thing, when in fact out loud, and there was nobody there. This went for like 20 hours.
We glazed over it.
Yeah,
when,
right.
Personally, when we were off the air, but he did end up in the hospital.
Oh yeah, he did. He wound up in the hospital. He got dehydrated.
Yeah. Oops. Must have been trying to stay awake with all the 900
too much
pages.
coffee, and he got dehydrated.
That'll teach you, Chuck.
Schmuckles, what an idiot. So he had the clerks reading this whole bill when, in fact, the senators should have read it, read
Right.
it themselves. But no, he had...
If you're going to vote on it, you would think you'd want to...
I tuned in to C-SPAN like at 3 o'clock in the morning, right, just to see what was going on. And so here's this poor guy sitting there and he's reading, and the poor guy was so hoarse from reading, and he was like falling asleep, and there was nobody there. There were like 2 senators sitting in the in their seats, and they were half asleep.
Right.
Because I guess they have to have one from each side there. So I don't know what the deal is, but it was just ridiculous.
Freaking joke.
So anyhow, the parliamentarian, the one that's there now, that was appointed by what's his name? Harry Reid, like 10 plus years ago, who's a Democrat, but the parliamentarian, this parliamentarian, she cherry-picked items out of the bill and said, no, you can't put this in, you can't put this in, you can't put this in. But the parliamentarian is supposed to be nonpartisan. And they're not supposed to be political. And their entire job is to they provide nonpartisan advice to the presiding officer, chamber, and committee leaders, individual senators, and staff about the Senate rules, precedents, and statutes as they pertain to Senate proceedings.
So
that's all they do.
That's
their job.
They have their booklet or whatever of
Correct.
all the laws and procedures.
Right. So for her to sit there and to actually go over the bill and take parts out is not part of the job description.
Right.
So I don't know how they're going to deal with that.
Yeah. Well, they need to stop it.
Now they can. John Thune, who is the Senate Majority Leader, he could fire her, and he's not doing that.
Right.
That one's beyond me.
Nope.
And just appoint a new
Right.
parliamentarian.
Right.
I don't know why he's not doing that.
Well, probably because she's more on their side than
He's a
not.
He's a Republican.
No, I get it. But again, it's not what's best for the country. What we talked about last time. It's what's best for them. And
So there's 9 pages of what the parliamentarian does, but the basic idea is they are the rule keepers,
Right.
And they're not supposed to be.
doesn't matter what's in the laws or
Right.
in the bills. It's that the proceedings are supposed to go this way, and that's what they're supposed to do.
She's not supposed to sit there with a yellow highlighter and
Right.
say, "Get rid of this, get rid of this,
Right.
get rid of this," or add this, add this. That's not the job.
Yep.
But that's what she and her staff did.
Right.
So now it should get interesting. And now it's like back in the House and it's stalled.
Right. And of course, this is just going to be a quick flash in the pan. You'll probably never hear about it again. Unless everybody starts talking about it and starts demanding that, something happens.
Call your
to this.
senators
Right.
and demand they get rid of this parliamentarian and get a nonpartisan person in there.
Right. And that they actually do the job. And if they're nonpartisan, it doesn't matter who appoints them. They're supposed to be nonpartisan.
Right.
It's-
Now, Mayor Largemouth Bass, I called her that last week, or 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
whenever it was, the mayor of Los Angeles, she's flipping out over ICE, which I find really funny.
Well, it's hot out. California's hot. They need ice.
Yeah, right. They need ice. They, she told them all to go home,
Right.
and they said no. And I just really find it funny. So the ICE spokesperson, Emily Covington, she's the assistant director of ICE for the Office of Public Affairs. She actually said this. The mayor said that they should just go home, get out of here. We don't want you here. We're not going to cooperate. Yada yada yada. Right. So this Emily Covington person actually said, ICE isn't going anywhere, and we will continue to do what Mayor Bass has utterly failed to do is protect the citizens of Los Angeles. If she wants distance from federal law enforcement, I'm sure there is an upcoming diplomatic trip to Ghana. Because if you remember,
Right.
when Los Angeles and surrounding areas were on fire a few months ago, Mayor Bass decided to go to Ghana
Right.
on a trip
Right.
for like 2 weeks.
And it was about something about their election over there.
Correct.
She wanted to be there for their election.
Why?
Yeah.
And so she's in Ghana yucking it up. Meanwhile, her city's burning. And they still haven't straightened it out. So anyhow, I thought that was really funny that this woman turned around and like just shoved it in her face.
Right. I just saw something also about the somebody trying to get permits to rebuild and all that, and they're just dragging
fighting
their
them.
feet.
Yeah.
And the local municipalities are basically just dragging their feet.
I wonder why, though.
Well, the word is that they want to put up public housing.
Oh, so all these multi-million-dollar homes on the beach are going to be Section 8 housing.
Right.
Great.
So that's the word, and it kind of makes sense of where they're going. Try to house everybody so that they can get, and they're housing votes. That's all they're doing. Doesn't care about the people. They just want bodies in there so that they can count them as a vote.
Which makes sense.
Yep.
It's sad, but
Yep. Well, the sad part is that people actually let them get away with it, and they let the politicians treat them like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the sad part. All these people strung out on the street, all the tent cities, they're there because that's what the politicians are wanting.
we have that here.
Yeah, no, I know that.
There's a whole homeless encampment behind a Walmart in Stroudsburg.
They get up on the, on the soapbox, and we're going to end this, we're going to end that. I just watched Bernie Sanders on Rogan, and Bernie, you're a failure. How long you been in the Senate? And you've done nothing. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. You've been complaining about the same stuff for how long has he been there?
Oh, I don't know, forever.
Probably since your hair was black. And so you've done nothing. Just get out of the way. You failed.
I think Joe Rogan was too nice to him.
Well, yeah, I do too. But the point is, he's not the only one.
No, they're all. They just. The
He's
mouth
independent.
goes
He's independent. He's been complaining about the same crap
forever.
his whole career as a politician, and has accomplished nothing.
Well, look at Nancy Pelosi. She's the
Yep.
same way.
Yep.
And now Rand Paul running the mouth, and then nothing happens.
Right. No. Yeah. And,
Trey Gowdy 2.0.
Yep. They just rework the same things over and over, and it just never gets fixed. And
And our taxes
we pay
go
them
up.
for it. We pay them
And
for
our
it.
taxes go up.
Right.
So that's what, going back to, since it's 4th of July week, Independence Day, that's what this country was founded on, was to get away from that.
Right. Get away from the career politicians, from the one party, uniparty, or king. They just had the No Kings frickin' protest.
Which
Well,
was a joke.
if you look at what's going on now, the parties are very close to being the same. They've been in power for frickin' what Biden was in 53 years or
Yep.
whatever, the Senate.
How long's Bernie been there? We're just talking about that. 30, 40 years?
Nancy Pelosi. And the country has actually gotten worse as far as, people being able to buy a house, being able to afford a car, go to school, and actually have a degree that matters to get a life for yourself. These degrees are handing out. They're nothing. The kids, these poor kids are stuck with a piece of paper. And they've done nothing. Nothing. It's like California with the the high-speed train.
Oh, that's a joke.
All those billions of dollars.
Did you ever see the map with the line?
Yeah.
Where it's supposed to go, and it's nothing.
Yeah.
Well, what about here?
Right.
Okay.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I
right.
have been
Yeah.
here. We
That's
used to
another
vacation
thing.
here when I was a kid, Poconos, right? Since like 1960 something. So then I moved here full time 20-something years ago. I have been hearing since the 60s. There used to be a train that went from Scranton down through here, across the Delaware River, straight through New Jersey into New York City. The train's coming back. The train's coming back. The train's coming back. That's all you hear from politicians. The train is coming back. It's never coming back. And they keep saying it.
And they
they're
raise
doing it
money,
again.
and there's committees, and they spend all this money researching
And doing
and
studies.
Studies, yeah. And
Meanwhile,
it's-
the railroad on the Jersey side, right, where all the track was, it's gone. It's all
Right.
housing developments
Right.
now because the railroad sold all the property
Right.
off. So where are they going to put this train? They're going to take all these people's houses away?
right.
It's a joke. But
Yeah.
they've been saying that crap since like the 1960s.
Right. Well, you just look at the history of Tock's Island.
Oh. Yeah, that was another one.
Yeah. And what it ended up doing, it ended up
Nothing.
being government owned.
Do you know what happened?
Section.
Do you know what actually happened? Okay. So, Tock's Island is this little island in the middle of the Delaware River between New Jersey and Pennsylvania. So, way back when, the government came in, the federal government, and by eminent domain took all this property, like millions of acres, little towns, like disappeared. They're ghost towns, right? So they were going to build, at Tock's Island, they were going to build a dam, a hydroelectric dam,
Right.
to generate electricity for the surrounding area. So this thing went on forever. I used to go to a Boy Scout camp up in that area, right, on the Jersey side. It was great. So that got shit canned too with this whole project. So all these little towns, there's a couple now that are still standing, but they're falling apart. There's houses all through the national park there now that are falling apart, and they're not doing anything with them. So they were going to put this dam in. So they took,
And in the meantime, the route there, 209, was a main artery
correct,
before the highways. That was the
Right.
main
drag.
transportation
Yep.
for trucks and
Right.
cargo. And
So they were going to put this dam in. They took all these people's properties. They relocated all these people. They gave them like pennies on the dollar for their property. So the Army Corps of Engineers starts doing a study. Now, this is like the sinkholes on Route 80. So the sinkholes on Route 80 in New Jersey have been there since the beginning of time because there are mines. And they built a highway over a bunch of mine shafts
Right.
that keep collapsing. And it was collapsing during construction back in the 60s, right? Makes no sense to me. So here at Tock's Island, the government comes in again and decides they're putting this dam in, like Hoover Dam, to generate electricity. Well, it turns out that where they were going to put this dam, there was no bedrock. Poof, end of project.
Right.
So I mean, they spent millions and millions and millions of dollars.
and wiped out communities.
Yeah, communities and uprooted families that have been there, hundreds of years on these farms and
Right.
stuff, and poof, gone, right? So then they finally go to build this dam, and there's no bedrock. They can't build the dam. So end of project. It now becomes a national park.
Right.
So from just below the Delaware Water Gap,
Mm-hmm.
all the way up to the New York border, up at the top, up near Milford, is now just national park on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
It's a joke.
Yep. And
Your tax
I
dollars
believe,
at work.
I believe that's part of the reason kind of the highways went the way they did.
Correct. Because of the
To make
Tox
up
Island thing.
for that.
Talk about a major screw
Yeah.
up.
So people did make money, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Contractors made money. Yep. And taxpayers funded it.
And it's sad. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just really sad.
And getting back to the history stuff, is Dingman's Bridge still there?
I don't know. I really don't know.
I wonder if it has to be. It must be.
I would think so.
It was I think it was the last family-owned
Was it really? Toll Bridge.
Yeah.
Is it still functional?
I believe so. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I don't know if anything's changed since it's been a while since I've been up that way. But if you get a chance, if it's still there, you should go over the Dingman's Ferry Bridge there. That's an adventure.
The northernest part of Northeast PA.
Yeah, right on the corner in New York, New Jersey, where everything comes together there. Not the highway one, not the I don't know what route that is anymore. 206, is it?
Yeah.
But go over the Dingman's Bridge. Be interesting if the guy is still there with the bucket.
The good old days.
Yeah.
Oh, then we found out this week that former CIA director John Brennan, remember that smarmy little bastard? Every time I see him, my skin crawls.
I know.
Right? Even when he was when he was the head of the CIA, just something wrong about him.
Well, he was like an accountant or something.
I don't know what he was, but he was just smarmy.
Yeah.
Just
And he looks
chills.
tough, but he's got that little talking voice
Right.
like that.
Just total wuss face. Anyhow,
Russia.
he served under Obama, and he's out. But it came out in a hearing that he was like one of the major pushers for this whole Russian Steele dossier thing in 2016.
Doesn't surprise me a bit.
But what's happening? Nothing.
Right.
Here
Yep.
we go again.
Yep.
All this crap comes out, and then nothing happens.
Right. Yep.
It makes me crazy.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm hoping that there's some sort of plan, because just like all the war thumpers were screaming, "Oh, we're going to war now," with Israel and Iran, and Trump bombed them. Now, now they're shooting missiles over at our base, and Trump was like, "We're going to go this way." So hopefully.
Well, you and I were talking about this earlier. Well, actually, no, it was yesterday. We were discussing it with that other guy, Andy, and about. I brought up. I said, "Well, what's up with Trump and Elon Musk?" And you guys were saying how that was it's a diversion.
I believe it's some kind of. I said last time, it's like watching professional wrestling. You got the script, and this one follows this way, this one follows this way. Once in a while, maybe somebody doesn't follow the script, but overall, that's how they make their money. And I think it's just a ploy to keep people busy while they're working on other things. And it's sensational, and two billionaires fighting, and now Elon Musk is the bad guy, and I just think it's I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but that's what I think it is.
That's your pod opinion?
That's my pod opinion.
Want to hear mine?
Yep.
Okay. So, my pod opinion is Trump is canceling this whole government contract with electronic vehicles, and Musk got pissed because what does he do? He makes electric vehicles. Mm-hmm. So he's cutting all the government contracts with that. So Musk is pissed off about it. Mm. That's my guess.
Yeah. Yep. And that's what it kind of sounds like, but
I could be wrong.
No, I mean, I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it'll hurt him, Elon Musk. But he's got this. He's got the rockets. He's got the AI. What is it? Starlink. He's got other things than just electric cars.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, he's.
So again, you think is a diversion?
I think it's a diversion, and I it may be some time before we see exactly what they were diverting everybody from looking at, but I think it's because now Musk is gaining back popularity
Oh, with the lefties.
with the left.
Because he's against Trump. now.
Right. So what better way to make a plan than to put your own bad guy out there?
Okay.
You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. But I just think it's, if they were really hating on each other, I think it would be a lot worse.
Probably. Well, who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Well, maybe we'll never know.
Right. But, it is a game playing town, so
This is true.
you just got to have a new or a better reality show than the
And
the
let's
one before.
remember that Trump did have a reality show.
Yes. And he is a showman.
The Apprentice.
Yep.
So, yes, he is a showman, and he does put on quite a show.
Yep. But he does say it right to the point.
Yeah, no filters.
Yeah.
Which is, that's why I love the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, just no filters.
Yeah.
And he says what I think.
Right. Yep.
For the most part.
Yeah.
And to watch the lefties, melt down is just priceless.
Yeah.
Absolutely priceless.
It's amazing how they spiritual they get with how you should be this way and that way, and
Kumbaya.
yeah, until they're in charge, and then anything goes.
Well, no, then we're all wrong.
Right.
And I'm just sitting here, when it starts, and I just sit and laugh at them now. I used to get really upset when I would get attacked,
Yeah.
but now I just sit there and laugh.
Right.
And it's very funny.
Yep.
I do. I find it quite
No,
amusing.
it is, and it's taken all this to happen to be able to see behind the curtain. You know what I mean? And to be able to sit back and laugh, because before we didn't.
Well,
we didn't really know what was going on. We knew stuff was going on, but we didn't.
I kept my mouth shut
No.
all those years because I was afraid of losing work. You
Yeah,
know,
right.
Because God forbid you came out as a conservative in the music industry, you'd be, blackballed.
Booted out, right.
Yeah. I mean, not.
And it's not too long ago that people were still in Hollywood.
Well, they're still doing it.
Yeah, right.
But now I don't care.
Right.
I really don't. And I just laugh about it. I find it amusing that they're so childish.
Right. Yep.
But and then the other thing you were talking about today was University of Pennsylvania stripped Leah Thomas of her medals, its medals, his medals,
Because he was a male when he participated in a woman's sport.
So now is Riley Gaines going to get the medals back?
She should get the first place medal, and she should be acknowledged as the winner. But I don't know if that's the plan or not. I know that they've basically said that they're going to strip the medals away, but they haven't said anything about redistributing them to the rightful winner.
See, that's wrong because this happened how long ago?
It was,
A couple years ago, right?
well, it was a little while ago. I think it was probably 2017, 18, somewhere around there, I think.
So it messed Riley Gaines up from going to the Olympic.
Right.
Right.
No, it changed her whole life.
Which is wrong.
Yeah. Yep.
So I don't want to see this person in the record books with an asterisk. You just wipe them away.
Right, exactly. That's what has to be done.
Same thing. You were talking about that, and I came across this other thing. There's a trans athlete, a guy who won a U.S. cycling women's event, and the woman that came in second refused to get on the podium to get a medal because a guy won first place.
Right.
And she said, if I had known a guy was going to be in here,
Right.
I wouldn't have even entered the race.
Right. No, then that's basically what you have to do is just, I know you worked hard or they've worked hard and everything, but you just got to stop and not play the game anymore. You just got to step away.
And if you saw the picture, there's a picture on this news site. I forget which news site it was. It was NBC or one of those. Anyhow, they had pictures of the winner who was like this 6'4" guy in drag, right? And then these little women.
Yeah.
So there was no way they were going to beat this dude.
Right.
It was just impossible.
Right.
Physically impossible.
Yep. Pretend gender. That's what it is.
So it's just, so I'm curious what's going to happen. I thought this crap was done.
No. Well, I think it's slowly, again, it's going to be a progression, but it's slowly turning back to as it should be. If women are going to compete in women's sports, and let the women compete. Same with the men. And if they want to make some category for anybody,
That's fine.
do it.
I have no problem with that.
No, I don't either.
But Trump evidently now is going to take away funding from the states that are allowing this to happen.
Right.
And good for him.
Yep.
I mean,
And that's what it. And again, it all gets back to the money. All gets back to the money.
Well, it's going to be a huge court battle. I know it is.
Yeah. And again, it's our money. So how about everything we're saving, get back to me, don't take it out of my check, and I'll handle it. I'll handle it. Because apparently definitely the last 4 years, it's been way out of control. And even before that, well, the whole time. Doesn't matter who was in office. Until Trump coming in office and started ripping off the frickin' covers.
It's like
and
peeling an onion.
Yeah, and started exposing all this stuff by being brash, by being not bought. It's all coming to surface, and it's just nonsense. It's just they create another way to get our money. That's all it is. It's all this transgender stuff, and then it's the NGOs raising money for the transgender, and then they're filtering it back into the politicians' pockets. It's all frickin' nonsense. Just, I'll give you $10 a week, fix the frickin' potholes, and let me be.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You know?
Absolutely.
Yep.
I want our roads fixed.
Right.
I want our homeless veterans housed.
Right.
And taken care of.
They should be taken care of. They shouldn't pay for a dime for medical. You're giving frickin' illegals housing and phones and free health care. How about the veterans laying in the frickin' under the bridge? How about we do that?
Absolutely.
Frickin'
It's just
nuts.
wrong.
It's nuts.
Absolutely wrong.
Yep.
So, to wrap it up for this episode of Podpinions,
we got lots of them.
we do, with lots of Podpinions.
Yeah.
Have a very safe 4th of July. Don't do anything stupid with the fireworks.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And you don't want to lose any fingers or hands. I know a guy who did that. And
you don't want to point something at somebody and they lose something. So
right.
It's really not worth it.
And be careful of the doggies out there that are afraid of fireworks. But enjoy your Independence Day.
Yep.
And we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye.
See ya.
Americans, the how and the why of our beloved republic are so much better known and understood than the who. The United States of America was born in 1776, but it was conceived 169 years before that. The earliest settlers had watered the New World with much sweat. They had built substantial holdings for themselves, for their families. And when the time came to separate themselves from a tyranny an ocean away, at best it meant starting all over again after the ravages of war. Researching what you're about to hear gave a whole new dimension to my reverence for our nation's first citizens. All others of the world's revolutions, before and since, were initiated by men who had nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. Our founders had everything to lose and nothing to gain, except one thing. Hello, Americans. I'm Paul Harvey. You remember the cherry tree fiction. A long time after you have forgotten the more earth-shaking history-making episodes in the life of George Washington. You have misplaced in your memory the details of Ben Franklin's statesmanship, but you remember his flying a kite. Joyce Kilmer was a great military hero. But the only thing you personally recall about him is his poetic tribute to trees. Maybe of this current decade, that which will be remembered best will not be its wars and its moon rockets or its crumbling frontiers or the giants who lived and died. Maybe all that'll survive to linger in the day-by-day vocabulary of generations yet unborn may be the songs of a Memphis minstrel or the reincarnation of electric automobiles. But for any eve of the 4th of July, I, Paul Harvey, do herewith bequeath unto you something to remember. You may not be able to quote one line from the Declaration of Independence at this moment. Henceforth, you'll always be able to quote at least one line. It's in the last paragraph where you will recall when I remind you. It says, "We mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor." In the Pennsylvania State House that's now called Independence Hall in Philadelphia, the best men from each of the colonies sat down together. This was a very fortunate hour in our nation's history, one of those rare occasions in the lives of men when we had greatness to spare. These were men of means, well-educated. 24 were lawyers and jurists. 9 were farmers, owners of large plantations. On June 11, a committee sat down to draw up a Declaration of Independence. We were going to tell the British fatherland no more rule by redcoats. Below the dam of ruthless foreign rule, the stream of freedom was running shallow and muddy, and we were going to light a fuse to dynamite that dam. This pact, as Burke later put it, was a partnership between the living and the dead and the yet unborn. There was no bigotry, there was no demagoguery in this group. All had shared hardships. Jefferson finished a draft of the document in 17 days. Congress adopted it in July, and so much is familiar history. But now, King George III had denounced all rebels in America as traitors. Punishment for treason was hanging. The names now so familiar to you from the several signatures on that Declaration of Independence, the names were kept secret for 6 months, for each knew the full meaning of that magnificent last paragraph in which his signature pledged his life, his fortune, and his sacred honor. 56 men placed their names beneath that pledge. 56 men knew when they signed that they were risking everything. They knew if they won this fight, the best they could expect would be years of hardship in a struggling nation. And if they lost, they'd face a hangman's rope. But they signed the pledge. And here is the documented fate of that gallant 56. Carter Braxton of Virginia, wealthy planter, trader, saw his ships swept from the seas. To pay his debts, he lost his home and all of his properties and died in rags. Thomas Lynch Jr., who signed that pledge, was a third-generation rice grower, aristocrat, large plantation owner. After he signed, his health failed. His wife and he set out for France to regain his failing health. Their ship never got to France, was never heard from again. Thomas McKean of Delaware was so harassed by the enemy that he was forced to move his family 5 times in 5 months. He served in Congress without pay, his family in poverty and in hiding. Vandals looted the properties of Ellery and Clymer and Hall and Gwinnett and Walton and Hayward and Rutledge and Middleton. Thomas Nelson Jr. of Virginia raised $2 million on his own signature to provision our allies, the French fleet. After the war, he personally paid back the loans, wiped out his entire estate, and he was never reimbursed by his government. In the final battle for Yorktown, he, Nelson, urged General Washington to fire on his, Nelson's, own home, which was occupied by Cornwallis. It was destroyed. Thomas Nelson Jr. had pledged his life, his fortune, and his sacred honor. The Hessians seized the home of Frances Hopkinson of New Jersey. Francis Lewis had his home and everything destroyed, his wife imprisoned. She died within a few months. Richard Stockton, who signed that declaration, was captured, mistreated, his health broken to the extent that he died at 51. His estate was pillaged. Thomas Hayward Jr. was captured when Charleston fell. John Hart was driven from his wife's bedside while she was dying. Their 13 children fled in all directions for their lives. His fields and grist mill were laid waste. For more than a year he lived in forests and caves and returned home after the war to find his wife dead, his children gone, his properties gone, and he died a few weeks later of exhaustion and a broken heart. Lewis Morris saw his land destroyed, his family scattered. Philip Livingston died within a few months from the hardships of the war. John Hancock, history remembers best due to a quirk of fate rather than anything he stood for. That great sweeping signature attesting to his vanity towers over the others. One of the wealthiest men in New England. And yet he stood outside Boston one terrible night of the war. And he said, "Burn Boston, though it makes John Hancock a beggar, if the public good requires it." So he, too, lived up to the pledge. Of the 56, few were long to survive. 5 were captured by the British and tortured before they died. 12 had their homes from Rhode Island to Charleston sacked, looted, occupied by the enemy, or burned. 2 lost their sons in the army. 1 had 2 sons captured. 9 of the 56 died in the war from its hardships or from its more merciful bullets. I don't know what impression you had of the men who met that summer in Philadelphia. But I think it's important that we remember this about them. They were not poor men. They were not wild-eyed pirates. These were men of means. They were rich men, most of them, and had enjoyed much ease and luxury in their personal living. Not hungry men, certainly not terrorists, not irresponsible malcontents, not fanatical incendiaries. These men were prosperous men, wealthy landowners. They were substantially secure in their prosperity. They had everything to lose. But they considered liberty, and this is as much as I shall say of it. They had learned that liberty is so much more important than security, that they pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor. And they fulfilled their pledge. They paid the price, and freedom was born.
Slam the follow button. This is Podpinions.